Mikasa Sukasa. You Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Look like Eddie Guerrero, man. You like to watch wrestling?
Yep.
Have you ever watched wrestling? On weed? That's the way to see it, man! It's rock!
What up, world? Your boy Physics, and you know what time it is. It's March 2nd. Welcome to another WoW news joint. On today's episode, we're talking an update with Johnny Gargano. We're going to figure out what's going on with Samoa Joe's futures, what is going on with Ring of Honor, and more right after this.
Really?
Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Kid, get money, part of the Wild Nation. Sup, fam? Thank you for being in here. And anybody that's watching the replay, make sure to comment, subscribe, and if you leave a comment, I definitely will reply under there. So let's get to the first news joint of the day, and that is talking about what's going on with Johnny Gargano, and when are we going to see him? When it comes to Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano is not expected to debut in AEW within the next month, as noted by Dave Meltzer on this latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio. Earlier this week, the former NXT champion reaffirmed that he is a free agent and is taking indie bookings. For anyone that is hoping that will lead to an impending AEW debut, it does not look like it's in the cards. Looks like you're going to have to wait a bit. Johnny Gargano has not wrestled since his WWE contract has been up. He explained to comicbook.com why that was the case. And he said, I just wanted to completely break free of all that and refresh myself. And especially with a baby coming soon, I wanted to be in the best headspace I possibly could, not only for Candace, but for also the baby. Hold on. Yeah, so AEW Johnny Gargano, that's going to be no time soon, but we will be seeing most likely either at Dynamite or Rampage. Swerve and Jeff Hardy will be shown soon. It's going to be within the next few weeks. We will see them. I'm going to guess Jeff Hardy possibly at Revolution, and then Swerve probably at Dynamite. But also we have Tony Khan's big announcement tonight, so it's possible that that can happen tonight as well. But that's the thing. We've stated this before, but I feel like if Johnny Gargano goes to AEW, his ceiling, like majority of everybody coming in AEW, is the TNT Championship. I don't see him taking the belt off of Hangman Page. I don't really see him possibly being a world champ, even though it would be great. But it just seems there's too many people ahead of him. I feel like you eventually got to give CM Punk a run with the belt. You eventually got to give Bryan Danielson a run with the belt. As already two people. If Bray Wyatt, when they're trying to end up showing up to AEW, he's going to be a name that you can possibly put the belt on. So there's just too many people that are ahead of him for him to be in that field. Kid Get Money says, I want to see Gargano anywhere but main roster. Yeah. I mean, he was one of the faces of NXT. He was the person that led the charge once they went to USA. So the possibility of him going anywhere else, I mean, I really feel like indie bogus is where it's at until there could be a clear vision of what he would do in AEW. I feel like we're at a point where the whole idea is just throw people to AEW, but then once they get there, what do you do with them? They're already having a problem of having too many wrestlers. And as Triple H stated, it's easy to have a wrestling promotion. What is hard is to have a wrestling promotion with a TV show on top of that. Because when you have the TV show, you now have to take in the fact that people are not going to be on TV. You also got to take in the fact of people having egos. The people you pay the most are the people that you have to put on television and that you have to make sure get seen because you paid them this much money. So you got to get your money's worth. And while during the same time period, you have to now build this future. That's what the four pillars are in AEW. They are the future of AEW, but they also cannot be the future of AEW if they end up jumping ship to WWE or somewhere else. So we're just at this weird point where it's kind of hard to figure out where people are going to go, and if they're going to AEW, what are they going to do? Swerve, like I said, I just feel like his top is TNT Championship, but that's just almost like anybody. Same with Keith Lee. And Jeff Hardy, they have the tag team division, so he'll be okay. He's going to be with his brother, which is the one thing he wanted, is to be with family. But we're just at a point where wrestlers coming in, and it just feels like there's not going to be much for them to do. And that's the sad point of what's going on with AEW. Moving on, we have let's talk about Samoa Joe and what the future holds for him. Released by WWE not once but twice. Before getting his walking papers the second time, he returned to the ring, won the NXT title for a third time, gave up that belt, and helped several young stars get their feet set for the 2.0 version of NXT. After its release at the start of 2022, Joe's been named to the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. Now he's considering what's next for him as a 43-year-old professional wrestler. He talked to Busted Open on March 1st, yesterday, and Joe explains how his in-ring comeback ended, revealing what the injury that led to his vacating the NXT Championship in the process. It does sounds like with the 2.0 rebranding works, he wasn't going to be the champ there for long. He stated, I popped for COVID. It was the weekend. My wife was making stew and I couldn't smell it. She said, Wow, doesn't that smell great? I said, No. I tested positive on Saturday. By then, Vince wanted to go in a different direction with NXT and he wanted to have the new opening for of 2.0 to be with a bang. And I agree with him. I said, If that's the case, this is probably what's best for what your vision is for the product. I went behind the scenes and started working with talent on a one-on-one basis, pulling guys individually in open gyms, working with them, and focusing on these new tremendous prospects that were brought in and people that were hungry to learn and excited about this newfound opportunity. It was invigorating for me. When you're working with younger talent that are hungry and want to succeed on a high level, it amps up your own spirit. I was delving into that heavily, working with Matt Bloom on revising things, training techniques, and evaluating what we were doing already and seeing if we could do it better. That was really the end of my tenure in the WWE. He also spoke about what's next. And when he says what's next, this is what he says is in the future for Samoa Joe. Since my departure from WWE, I've really been consumed with outside work, outside of the wrestling industry. A lot of cool voiceover stuff, some other things. So been busy with that. As far as my future here, I kind of started my road back to the ring in NXT. That road never really stopped, just kept training. But for my future, we're training, we're ready. I'm not on paper with anybody anywhere. We haven't signed anything. We've we're just kind of exploring our options. I'm taking a little time personally to be with my family, shore up things home side. We'll see what the coming months hold. Hopefully it'll be positive. I'm not really engaged with anybody or exploring that. I've been consumed with my other work, which has been nice. We're now getting back to pro wrestling and seeing where we go from there. I'm open to whatever opportunity. At this point, I'm blessed enough that I get to make decisions and to get to work on things outside of wrestling, which is a rarity when you're this far in and committed to the business. The discussions haven't happened yet. I've gotten my team working on stuff. When they eventually connect, we'll see if something gets worked out. Now, if you don't know, Samoa Joe is going to be a part of the Suicide Squad video game. He is King Shark in the game, so that's one of the voiceover things he's going to do, which means he's also going to have to be doing a lot of promotion for that, which is kind of where that WWE gave him up, knowing the fact that he has something big coming up because it is a Rocksteady game from the same people that made Arkham Asylum. The game is going to be big. It's one of the biggest games slated. Suicide Squad versus the Justice League, but he's not there anymore. Samoa Joe falls in the same ship. Although I can't see him being a world champion at AEW. The man is great on the mic. The man is a great champion to have. It is sad that he was never a world champion in WWE. That should have been the case. I felt like he should have been one of the few people to take the belt off of Brock Lesnar, to show how serious he is. Because I mean, one of the best moments, I mean, two of the best moments, of course, is him running down everybody in the ring, especially going at Jeff Hardy. And when he got in the face of Brock Lesnar, because that man didn't back down. And he looked great. He looked like $1,000,000. And that was just a missed opportunity. But that's WWE. They are full of missed opportunities. They make great opportunities, but they miss so many. But hey, I'm happy for him. He's doing outside stuff. I'm pretty sure he will connect with his boy CM Punk. They haven't done anything or been in a ring together for a while. And if I what if I had my pick, I would say if you're gonna turn CM Punk heel, have Samoa Joe be his enforcer, and them just being like, "This is what real wrestling is." Um, have there be a match. CM Punk's losing. Samoa Joe comes out, puts him in the clutch. Person passes out. GTS 1, 2, 3, and now we have the alliance between those two, and it should just stay those two. We shouldn't be adding anybody else. Oh yeah, and of course, Kid Get Money with the "Oh Wendy," him and AJ Styles. And I got to see him do the whole Wendy thing at SummerSlam at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we're at a point where I was talking about with Johnny Gargano is, if you have outside stuff going on, do those outside things, because we're at a point where we really, like, I don't want Samoa Joe to go somewhere and he's just used for a little bit and then he's done. Unless that's exactly what he wants to do, then hey, good for him. But I just don't want him to just go somewhere and then nothing happens. I wouldn't even be surprised at this moment. I mean, they fired him, rehired him, if he ended back up in WWE. But if I was him, I would have them put on the dotted line in my contract that I will be a world champion. Like, you're not gonna just bring me in to puff up people one more time, make everything great again, and then get rid of me. Nah, you got to make me a world champ. That's just how it's going to go. Yep, and yeah, and that's the Brock Lesnar thing. Look at me when I'm talking to you. I'm restrating this right now. Yep, and got in Brock Lesnar's face, and it looked like Brock Lesnar wanted to tear his head off, and I was like, yes. And at that moment, that's where I was like, he should beat Brock Lesnar. Put him in a clutch. And I feel like Brock Lesnar would have been okay with it. I just feel like that was a WWE thing. At this point for the last 2 years, Brock Lesnar seems to be okay with anything. The way he's treated smaller wrestlers, all the way from Ricochet to Finn Balor to AJ Styles, when it comes to getting in the ring with him, and how much he sells for them, even when he doesn't have to, because we all know the Brock before, and ruthless aggression Brock wouldn't have done any of that. But he seems like to be having the time of his life. And we're at a moment where, it shouldn't just be Roman Reigns, and just it shouldn't be Shield adjacent people beating him. There should be a slew of great wrestlers that can beat him without any issue. And I feel like he should be the stepping stone for wrestlers that are going to the next level at this point. Like, we need to start making Brock Lesnar the final boss of things. Since we feel like we're not going to have him that much longer. So I just feel like that should be the case. Shout out to Gruss, the supervillain of the IWC, is in the building. Now let's move on to Ring of Honor and what's going on there. Ring of Honor has been on hiatus since December's Final Battle pay-per-view, and Supercard of Honor will be their first show back on Friday, April 1st. The company announced in the lead up to Final Battle that they were taking some time off during the first quarter of this year to work internally to reimagine the company and return with a new fan-focused product and provide a unique experience. That all sounds to me like YouTube. In an update, Fightful Select reports that sources from multiple wrestling companies say there have been overtures regarding a possible sale of Ring of Honor or a possible partnership between Ring of Honor and another promotion. Beyond those recent rumors, there had been talk between the hiatus and over the past 2 years that inquiries were made to see what it would take to acquire Ring of Honor. A rumor within the world of pro wrestling claimed that the price point was significant in 2020. Regarding a potential sale, ROH sources noted that there were way more bidders than expected, and that multiple wrestling companies and a few media companies have been involved in talks at some point. These numbers have not been confirmed by ROH, but there have been talks of three price points that were rumored over the last 2 years. One higher up source in another company heard directly from a person who claimed to be in talks to buy ROH in early 2020 that $40 million was a discussed price point, with a person close to ROH claiming they had heard the price was half that. A source within ROH indicated that an independently wealthy fan that is not in the wrestling business made an effort to purchase the company more recently, and that they were quoted $30 million for 50% ownership. Furthermore, a possible sale of ROH is said to be still on the table, according to to word that has made its way around several wrestlers who have been with ROH or who have been connected to the company. RH recently confirmed that they will resume touring and TV tapings after Supercard of Honor, while the April 10th TV taping in Philadelphia is the only date announced as of the writing. The company reportedly has tentative dates for live events and TV tapings set well past April, all the way up until the end of the year. It makes me wonder who this super fan is. I can g- Makes me really wonder who the super fan is that was willing to give like 30 million for 50% of the stakes. Um, it's quite interesting, but I guarantee you WWE is involved in this. I guarantee you AEW is involved in this. They also said a couple of media entertainment places, and I would guess that Axis, which is owned by Mark Cuban, which has had Impact on there, really feel like Impact wants to have their own thing. They've had Impact, they've had, I mean, not Impact, but Axis has wants to hold their own thing. Having Impact on there at one point, having New Japan Pro Wrestling on there. They're into wrestling, but they don't own anything. I know Sinclair Broadcasting wanted to own Ring of Honor. They put a lot of money into Ring of Honor. The issue is Sinclair Broadcasting is the devil. um, and I feel like tying yourself to them is gonna really just take you away from potential wrestlers that are gonna come there, especially those wrestlers that are to the left, very liberal, and know exactly what Sinclair Broadcasting does. I don't think you will want to be a part of that, and you'll just miss out on the potential of really good wrestlers coming to the company, um, due to due to their morals. Um, But yeah, I feel like that's the case. I feel like WWE wants their tapes. They want their library. I don't know if they want Ring of Honor to still exist, and I feel like that's the issue. I feel like they're trying to cash out, which is why they haven't. I mean, $30 million, 50% stake that allows you to keep going for the next year or two. Find you another television station that's going to put you, or another cable network that's going to put you on, but they said no to their 30 million. I feel like they're looking at this as 100 million or nothing. And I feel like maybe 150 to take everything from Ring of Honor. So take their tapes. And I mean, with Peacock behind WWE, I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting rumors that WWE is going towards Ring of Honor, purchasing the library and just purchasing Ring of Honor outright. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised we hear about that in the next few weeks. If April 10th is the only other thing they have done, they already have the arena, they already have set up everything. You might as well just get it done, let everybody know this might be the last show, and go from there and cash out what you can. That's just what it seems like we are with Ring of Honor at this moment. It doesn't look like we're going to go any further in the future with Ring of Honor, which is sad because Ring of Honor created so many great wrestlers. Almost every great wrestler that we've mentioned that we talk about has gone through Ring of Honor. Your Bryan Danielson, your Seth Rollins, your CM Punk, your Samoa Joe, your Johnny Gargano, your AJ Styles, your Jay Lethal, Jonathan Gresham is the champion at the moment, but he's been seen around AEW, and there's rumors that he might put the belt up while he's doing um, AEW, but almost everybody you can name has come through Ring of Honor. And it's just sad that something so prevalent is going to be gone. I mean, OVW used to be the training grounds for WWE, and OVW is still around. Like they just had Moose and Mickey James come up to OVW, and they still have a television station, especially in Ohio, where they're still huge. And I really feel like they just need to find their market and go with a buyer that's willing to give you money, give you equity, and you can move forward with still bringing great wrestling and doing it on a bigger level. So, um, hopefully Ring of Honor stays around for a little bit. But now let's get to some quick hits. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer shut down the idea that Triple H could possibly be added to WrestleMania card to sell tickets, saying his heart situation is he can't. I don't want to say never because that's unfair, but that would be a horrible idea for him, and that's not going to happen this year. No, there's no way. So he says this year, I'm not gonna read into that. Like I said, I feel like it's quite sad that we're not gonna get Triple H. From what everything has been told, his in-ring career is done. Um, Unfortunately, and you all know, like my dream match is for him to come back and face Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes has to face up to everything he's done, and that Triple H gives him just one receipt, just to be like, "That's for everything you did while you were in AEW. Now let's put on a great match." But I'd rather just have Triple H doing stuff backstage. The fact they're still keeping him away seems really weird. Um, there are rumors that if you don't know, Nick Khan and The Rock grew up together. They were best friends since childhood. And we all know The Rock and Triple H had a lot of beef. And that Triple H did a lot of shit to keep The Rock down, except The Rock was just so good on the mic and electrified in the ring that he really couldn't stop the train that The Rock was going to be. But there are rumors that maybe Nick Khan is doing it, making sure Triple H stays away as payback for everything he did with The Rock. But, those are just rumors. Um, Ricochet got such a strong showing on SmackDown last week because he's slated to be the number 2 singles babyface on the show behind Drew McIntyre per PW Insider. But Ringside News claims Ricochet's rumor push is still undecided and it could be a short-term thing. Hey, I'm okay. More Ricochet, the better. Like I said, I feel like you need to make a lot more smaller wrestlers relevant in WWE. It worked for Rey Mysterio. It would definitely work with Ricochet. And this is the thing: you don't need to have Ricochet be super, white meat babyface. Have him be a babyface, but have him be a badass. The same badass that flipped up out the ring and stood in the face of a person that we are not going to name. That dude. And the same kind of badass that when he would get on the mic at New Japan or Ring of Honor, he would just let off. Allow him to be that guy and not the, well, I'm just so happy to be her guy. No, allow him to be that guy. Uh, Pay-per-view figures from Wrestling Observer newsletter show All Out did more than 200,000 buys for AEW last year, 41% better than their previous record. Overall, the show generated more than $10 million in revenue. Shout outs to them, which means, maybe they're going to have a good TV deal and they can sign all the wrestlers they want, because right now they're strapped. According to Fightful Select, Randy Orton was hurt during Monday Night Raw this week, and it led to the match being changed on the fly. RK Bro was originally to beat the Street Profits, but that changed when Orton was hurt. He apparently had issues with his ribs, got the wind knocked out of him, and couldn't move well. Wish the best for Randy. As I said earlier, Jeff Hardy and Shane Strickland, aka Isaiah Swerve Scott, should both be showing up in AEW soon. Says the Wrestling Observer. I said it's probably going to be in the next few days. Per PW Insider, Amari Miller was stretchered out after her match with Lash Legend on NXT 2.0 this past week and checked out by WWE's medical team backstage, though it's unclear at this time what her status is. Wish her the best with her health. WWE Hall of Famer Scott Hall is currently hospitalized with a broken hip. Wish him the best with his health as well. AEW and WWE expand original programming multi-year partnership with more than 130 new hours. This will include new season of the acclaimed biography WWE Legend Strand and the hit original series WWE's Most Wanted Treasures to begin production, and network greenlights new series WWE Rivals. So if you remember the A&E WWE biography stuff they were doing, those were dope. The Booker T one was good. They did a Stone Cold one, Macho one. They did really good on those. So it's nice to see that they're working with them again, and that we're probably gonna get some more good content. Got a question. What do y'all think about Nikki Lyons? Star. The future is behind her. She's stacked to be a legend, and she takes the cake at the end of the day. So I feel like we're gonna see a lot of her. The crazy thing is I ran across her because I do wrestling stuff, so I'm a wrestling stuff on IG. She popped up and I saw her and I was like, before, and I saw she was signed to NXT. I was like, once she gets to NXT, she's going to start trending. And the first night she got to NXT, she started trending. And it's just, I feel like it's going to go from there on. And she fits the mold of what NXT 2.0 is. Give it a year. She'll be a champion. She's going to be a champion there. And then we'll see if we get Naomi versus Nikki Lyons. Because, I mean, that's all we want at the end of the day. Veteran pro wrestler Chavo Guerrero took to Twitter today and deleted his initial reaction to being removed from the AEW roster. While working on season 2 of Young Rock, Guerrero was recently removed from the AEW roster, and a fan on Twitter pointed this out. Guerrero responded and claimed AEW president, CEO, general manager, and head of creative. That man has so many damn titles. Tony Khan told him his job would be there when he returned from filming the show. He wrote, "That's news to me. I guess having Tony Khan telling me to go film Young Rock season 2 and my job would be waiting for me when I'm done didn't mean much." He deleted that and eventually came back and just wrote, "News to me." And the retweet was, "Reporting a fact, Chavo Guerrero is no longer listed on the AEW official AEW roster page." It was reported back in September that when Khan signed Guerrero to work with Andrade and Young Rock was renewed for second season, they came up with an agreement where Guerrero would work through AEW All Out pay-per-view, and then they will blow off the character. It was noted then that Guerrero was expected to return to AEW once the film and wrap. There's no word on if AEW has plans to bring Guerrero back. Well, they're falling in line with a WWE of firing people and not letting them know they got fired. So hey, Tony Khan is learning from the best of them. And if you haven't watched Young Rock, it's a fun show, super sweet. If you need a family show, watch Young Rock. And of course, you get to see, versions of Macho Man, the Wild Samoans, Andre the Giant, the Iron Sheik. I would say it's a fun watch, and we're leading towards. I don't think we're that far from the older Rock leaving Miami. I mean, also Ray Lewis, LSU's old coach. No, that's their current coach because he was a coach on Miami. Uncle Luke pops up. Like, there's a lot going on, but I feel like we're not that far from that older Rock going to Canadian Football League and finding his way to the WWE. And there is a Vince McMahon proxy in there as well. And WWE is involved because, they own some of those names. Now, let's get to what's going on tonight in the world of wrestling. The AEW Revolution Go Home edition of Dynamite on TBS will air live tonight from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, the home of AEW. AEW has announced the following lineup for tonight, and that is Thunder Rosa Mercedes Martinez versus Jamie Hayter and AEW Women's World Champion Britt Baker, DMD. We have a tag team casino battle royale to determine which team will join Red Dragon and AEW World Tag Team Champions Jurassic Express at Revolution. AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds versus Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. And Tony Khan reveals his massive announcement that he's been talking about for the last few weeks. Hopefully he doesn't get on Twitter and be like, well, when I said massive announcement, I did not mean da-da-da-da-da. Oh, propane. So hopefully he doesn't do that. Jacksonville, Florida, home of Kid Get Money. And he also agrees that Young Rock is a good show. Comes back on March 11th next in a week or so. So catch the second season. But that is the show for today. Make sure to check out the blunt ratings when Laylo puts those up. Laylo, check your email, fam. I sent you something. Other than that, thank y'all for being with me. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with me. I appreciate you for that. Friday, I will be here to break down what's been going on in the world of wrestling. Until then, enjoy yourself, live life in peace.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to know when we go live next. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling on We, and thanks for watching.